Hey, it's Luke, I'm just another angsty teen. Good afternoon, good morning, and whatever it is. Happy New Year. Welcome back to another Angsty Teen podcast. My name's Luke. I am your host. Wow, that was a really good intro. That sounded like a real life podcast. I'm proud of myself. Welcome back to another Angsty Teen podcast. Today is a part 2. That's right. I think this is our first part 2 in another Angsty Teen podcast history. So I'm pretty excited. If you have not listened to part 1, I think you should. I can give you a quick rundown here, but go listen to last week's episode. Essentially, we're talking about the Meyer-Briggs personality test. In last week's episode, I took it, and I got the wrong personality type. I took the test, for the podcast, in front of the podcast, and then I got my results, and they were wrong because I've taken the test many a times before, and I got the right ones the other times, and so we're ignoring, the one that we did in the podcast, even though, it would make sense to use the test results from the podcast, which I am making for you guys. But it doesn't matter. I got the wrong results. Spoiler alert for last week's episode. But you should go listen to it also. Turns out I'm an Enfp. So that's exciting. And today we're going to be diving deeper into the strengths, the weaknesses of an Enfp. It's a really fun episode. I already recorded it, so it's kind of silly because I'm just here in this formal attire presenting an intro to this episode, and we don't even have a word of the pod or a Luke's Life update today, because I just want to get right back into it. But yeah, this the long-awaited part 2 to the personality quiz last week. I hope you're excited. I know the anticipation is building inside of you. One note is that I've had this pimple on my nose for so long, for a ridiculous amount of time, and it's not even like on the tip of my nose or under my nose. It's just like on the nostril, so like the thinnest part of my nose, and it's just like there, and it hurts so bad. And I've tried to pop it. I tried to pop it with some tweezers because I thought that would work. It didn't, and I'm upset about it. But I'm not gonna let that pimple bring us down today, because this is the part 2 of an episode that everyone loved. I keep saying very quietly, and I don't like that, and I want to put that out into the open so that you can't criticize me, because I just criticized me myself. Just kidding. But yeah, so I won't hold you here too long in the intro. If this is your first time to another Angsty Teen podcast, welcome. I'm happy you're here. Again, I'm Luke. I'm the host of this podcast. I'm just another Angsty Teen with too many deep thoughts. My gosh, is that a nervous tick thing? Am I doing that as a nervous tick? No. No, I don't know, Luke. I don't know. But yeah, this is my podcast where I talk about my feelings. I get all deep and existential, and today's episode is not a far cry from that. Today's episode is going to get nice and deep. Nice, deep, and dirty. That sounds dirty. That's what that sounds. It sounds like I just said a dirty thing. I didn't. I'm just talking about, existentialism. I just said it again. Holy moly. I'm fine, I swear. This entire podcast, okay, let's zoom out for a second. This entire podcast is just Luke learning that he needs to go to speech therapy. I feel like we go over this every week, but maybe I'm not as good at talking as I think I am. Someone help me. If you are a speech therapist or no one, I'm down for a Zoom call. we'll figure that out another day. For now, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoy part 2. Let me know if you hate it. I would love to hear that you hate it, so please leave a thumbs down. But without further ado, because there has been so much ado, please enjoy this episode, this part 2 of another Angsty Teen Meyer-Briggs Personality Test Edition. Peace out. A campaigner, Enfp, is someone with extroverted, intuitive, feeling, and prospecting personality traits. These people tend to embrace big ideas and actions that reflect their sense of hope and goodwill towards others. Their vibrant energy can flow in many directions. See, guys, that's me. That sounds like Luke, middle name Huston. Okay? So yeah, let's go through here and see some of my strengths and weaknesses, what I'm like in romantic relationships, what I'm like in friendships, and how I'll be as a parent. All things that I know you're dying to learn. Okay, let's read a little thing about ENFP. It doesn't interest me what you do for a living. I want to know what you ache for, and if you dare to dream of meeting your heart's longing. It doesn't interest me how old you are. I want to know if you will risk looking like a fool for love, for your dreams, for the adventure of being alive. Wow, these little description things are really fun to read, as if I'm like a poet or something, like a coffee house poet. I'm really feeling this. I feel like this voice is really good. Do you guys like this voice? Let me know. This could be a complete disaster, but it could be a fun disaster. The campaigner personality is a true free spirit. They are often the life of the party, but unlike the types in the explorer role group, gross, campaigners are less interested in the sheer excitement and pleasure of the moment than they are in enjoying the social and emotional connections they make with others. Charming, independent, energetic, and compassionate. The 7% of the population they comprise can certainly be felt in a crowd. 7%, folks. That's potentially a small amount. I don't know. That could be a large amount because there's 16 personalities. No, that seems like a smallish amount. Okay. Strengths and weaknesses. Let's see some of my strengths. Strength number 1, curious. When it comes to new ideas, campaigners aren't interested in brooding. They want to go out and experience things, and don't hesitate to step out of their comfort zones to do so. Campaigners are imaginative and open-minded, seeing all things as part of a big, mysterious puzzle called life. Yeah, I would say this is true. I would say I am quite a curious person, not necessarily like terribly inquisitive about things, not like I'm someone who asks a ton of questions, although in an academic setting I would say I tend to ask a lot of questions to the dismay of my peers who just want to move on. I do like learning a lot. I like learning legitimately. I don't like when a class is not authentically engaging. Like I'm not super motivated by academics, but I do enjoy learning, which sounds stupid, but it's true. I like learning about new things. I like taking in different perspectives. I like watching YouTube videos on weird things. And also, I've always been someone who I really like to learn different activities. Jack of all trades type beat. Whoa, my hair looks funny. Jack of all trades were like, I really wanted to learn the ukulele. So I got really into the ukulele for like 8 months, and I like brought it with me to school every day, and then I was like the ukulele kid, and then I learned it enough. I felt pretty confident. Then I just like added it kind of to the stockpile, like the utility belt almost. And it was just something I could do if I wanted to. It's the same thing with art, same thing with, video, same thing with podcasting, TikTok. Like, all those things are just like, ooh, I want to see what this is like. I want to see what this part of life has to offer. And I will say this part about, experiencing things and kind of figuring out life is, as stupid as it sounds and cliche, it is something I have a deep connection to. I really have a thirst to experience as much of life as I can. Like, I want to travel. I want to know what it's like to do all these different things and go in all these different directions. And, I talk a lot about being in a coming of age movie. I want to know what it's like to play all these different characters. Like, there's a piece of me, and this is quite philosophical talk, but there is a piece of me that does feel disappointed in that I'm only experiencing life, or life is only experiencing me, is only experiencing me as me, like, there is a piece of me that wishes I could just, like, pull a Freaky Friday, pull a little Lindsay Lohan, what's her name? What's the mom's name from Freaky Friday? Jamie Lee Curtis? Yeah. Good, go me. That was a good reference. Yes. Anyway, there's a piece of me that wants to, like, almost get into the brain of someone else. I'm fascinated, so fascinated by how all of our experiences, all of our decisions, all of the decisions made around us, every single interaction we've ever had is informing who we are presenting as right now. So I have this very distinct image in my brain of seeing a person and then seeing almost all of these blue, to me visually, because my brain in this situation works visually, I see like almost blue holograms following people around that are all just memories or experiences being played out, and they're all coming together and like mashing together to present as this person. So when someone makes a decision to do something, when someone treats you a certain way, when someone makes a certain left turn at a light, I think all of those experiences are a part of informing that decision to make that left turn, or how fast they're pressing the gas pedal. Do you hear that little phlegm there? Anyway, but yeah, that I really strongly believe that. And almost inversely, when it comes to like, do you believe in destiny? Do you believe that everything happens for a purpose? I think of it in a more retrospective sense, to where I think we add purpose to things that have happened. So when we experience something, we add purpose to it, and we see it as a part of our story, or as a part of, what is informing who I am today. And so does everything happen for a reason? I kind of think like, well, everything happens in order to make who you are presenting as. So I guess that's a reason. So yeah. Anyway, that was a long explanation of being curious, but I would say that is, something that I am. So go Enfp, which is the personality type that I am. Okay. Observant. Campaigners believe that there are no irrelevant actions, that every shift in sentiment, every move, and every idea is part of something bigger. To satisfy their curiosity, campaigners try to notice all these things and never miss a moment. I would say I don't know. I always struggle with this because as I talk about a lot, I like to talk. And so there's this idea where like, you can't be a talker and a listener. You're either a listener who is really deeply observant and always processing everything that's going on, or you're a talker who is just not observant at all and you just talk all the time. And so that's why I'm like, am I observant? I definitely resonate with the idea that there are no irrelevant actions, that every shift in sentiment, every move, and every idea is a part of something bigger, because I do believe that. I don't know. I would say I'm pretty interpersonal. So like, I do think I can pick up on social traits, or like I can pick up on things that people are doing pretty well. So I don't know. Moving on. Energetic and enthusiastic. Yeah. Okay, I'll read it. As they observe forming new connections and ideas, campaigners won't hold their tongues. They're excited about their findings and share them with anyone who will listen. That's you guys. Congrats. This infectious enthusiasm has the dual benefit of giving campaigners a chance to make more social connections and of giving them a new source of information and experience as they fit their new friends' opinions into their existing ideas. Yeah, I would say that's true. I think a lot of these strengths are traits of me when I'm doing good or when I'm feeling good, and these are signifiers that I can look for in myself of like, okay, you're doing good, you're feeling healthy, whatever. Because this is excitement almost about life, and this excitement about new things that I'm thinking about, and being able to share that, whether it's with the podcast or with someone I'm close with. This excitement is something that I've felt. It's something that dwindles here and there, and it ebbs and it flows, but it is a fantastic feeling. Like, I love the feeling of being excited about life. I love sharing thoughts, which is kind of goes back to like love for talking. It's funny because I don't like sharing like anything else. I'm not a super generous person. I think the only way that I am generous is with my words. So I hope that's enough for you. Excellent communicators, the next one, which is very on point. Anyway, it's a good thing that campaigners have such a strong set of people skills, or they'd never express these ideas. Campaigners enjoy both small talk and deep, meaningful conversations, which are just two sides of the same coin for them. And they are adept at steering conversations towards their desired subject in ways that feel completely natural and unforced. And wow, man, I'm reading, so I know that I said I've taken this test a lot, but I'm reading these strengths for the first time. That is very true. I've talked about this. I feel like I've talked about everything on the podcast, but I've talked about this thing I do where I will preemptively go through an interaction with someone, and I will think about how it will go, how I would want it to go, what I would want to talk about. I have the anecdote of when I was like a kid going to camp, and I was driving with my sister, who was like a camp counselor there, and I like said something. I said some punchline to a joke, and she was like, "What did you just say?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just planning this joke for when I see this specific person and we get to this part of the conversation." And then she was like, "Luke, don't do that." She was like, don't. But I guess it's just how I've always been, where like I pre-plan conversations, and that's also been a big struggle with the depersonalization that I talked about, where like a lot of times when I'm talking, it'll feel like I'm reading a script, or I will think everyone else is following a script, whatever, different side of that. But this is very true. I love small talk because I just like talking to people. I like that communication. I like, although I love talking, I love asking people about themselves and hearing about them. I don't like when they don't ask me back. I think, I don't know, whatever. This is like the 2 in me, the Enneagram 2, where like I put in energy into a relationship and I expect that energy is reciprocated, and most times it's not, and it's something I have to get past, and it's a very, what's that word? I don't know. It's not a healthy way to think about relationships, because they are not meant to be purchases where like you give something to a cashier and they give you something back. So I'm working on that. But anyway, I do like small talk. I do like deep, meaningful conversations. And I do have a tendency to steer conversations towards a subject that I want to talk about. Know how to relax It's not all nature of the cosmos discussions with campaigners. People with this personality type know that sometimes nothing is as important as simply having fun and experiencing life's joys. That intuitive trait lets campaigners know that it's time to shake things up, and these wild bursts of enthusiastic energy can surprise even their closest friends. Wow! That one also feels very true to me. When I first read Knows How to Relax, I struggled with that a bit because a lot of times I have a lot going on in my head. But I think to me this works more as a social trait in like I know how to release the tension of a conversation, and I think I'm very, like it said, like intuitive about conversations and when they're too deep and when to make the joke or when to ease that awkwardness of that, because a lot of times I will get really, really into a conversation, say all of my thoughts, say all of my feelings and like heavy whatever, and then I'll be like, but I'm just crazy. I'm just, or even with, people that I've been closest with, I think the best part of our relationship is even when things have been turbulent, we have always had a humor about us, and like even when having really, really hard conversations we still laugh, and I'm very, very into that. If you've seen the movie Jojo Rabbit, this is like my whole spiel on Jojo Rabbit, but I think there is something uniquely human about being able to laugh in the face of darkness. I think our ability to smile and connect with someone in the darkest, deepest, darkest times is something that is so profoundly us as people experiencing the world. And it's beautiful. I really, really do think it is beautiful. Moving on to the next strength. All this adaptability and spontaneity comes together to form a person who is approachable, interesting, and exciting, with a cooperative and altruistic spirit and friendly, empathetic disposition. Campaigners get along with pretty much everyone, and their circles of friends stretch far and wide. I don't know. I think that's true. I like to think that I'm approachable or anyone can talk to me. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for when we get to the friendships piece, because I think that'll give us some insight into Luke. This is fun. I hope you're enjoying yourself. I know this is a lot, and I think I might split this up into 2 episodes. In fact, we might already be to the second part, but I'm enjoying this for myself. I hope you're learning about me a little bit. Anyway, that was the last strength. Let's move on to the weaknesses. Weaknesses. That was probably really scary for the audio only people. Anyway, poor practical skills. Excuse me? Excuse me? I just want to be super offended by all of these weaknesses, because for all of the strengths I was like, yeah, that's really true to me, and then for the weaknesses I want to just be like, I have never felt that way. Okay. Poor practical skills. When it comes to conceiving ideas and starting projects, especially involving other people, campaigners have exceptional talent. Unfortunately, their skill with upkeep, administration, and follow-through on those projects struggles. With more hands-on people to help push day-to-day things along, campaigners' ideas are likely to remain just that, ideas. Now, I am offended by this. No. But I think I've gotten a lot better at this. I think, yes, I am quite ambitious and I'll have a lot of ideas that don't happen, but in doing this new yearbook position and with my job, I think I have gotten way better at this. Like, I am way more motivated and way more productive recently. Specifically, I guess the difference here is I'm really good in a system at getting things done. I think I do struggle with my own I think I do struggle with my own productivity when it's kind of my own things and I'm regulating them, and that's probably where this comes in. But I've definitely gotten better, even in that aspect. So, thanks, Meyer Briggs. Personality test, strengths and weaknesses. Number 2, um, campaigners find it difficult to focus. Ouch. Okay, campaigners are natural explorers of interpersonal connections and philosophy, but this backfires when what needs to be done is that TPS report sitting right in front of them. It's hard for campaigners to maintain interests as tasks drift towards routine, administrative matters, and away from broader concepts. Again, yeah, I think this is something I struggle with, but I've gotten a lot better. Like we talked about earlier, I don't mind routine. In fact, when routine is done by me, when I make my routine, I think I thrive with a routine. It makes me a lot mentally healthier. Um, and so if it's a routine I'm not passionate about, or I don't know, I don't like when people tell me what to do, but I think I've gotten a lot better at this. So, ouch. Okay. Number 3, overthink things. True. Okay. Campaigners don't take things at face value. They look for underlying motives in even the simplest things. It's not uncommon for campaigners to lose a bit of sleep asking themselves why someone did what they did, what it might mean, and what to do about it. Yeah. I think for me this is a lot more internal, because I don't like placing judgments on other people. So I think I don't know, when I think why would someone do this, that feels like a judgment placed on them. Instead, I'm way more self-centered. uh but yeah, I'm way more self-critical in this, where like I'll lose sleep thinking about why I did something, or the worst thing, which we've talked about before, but I will lose sleep thinking about why I would do something that I haven't even done. I will think up hypothetical situations and walk through how I would act in those situations, and then I will overthink why, like, how dare I do that? How dare I address this situation in this way? And so, yeah, I do think I overthink things. So I guess you got 1 out of 3 right then. No, I'm just kidding. All three of these have been correct. Okay. They get stressed easily. All this overthinking isn't just for their own benefit. Campaigners, especially turbulent ones, which is what I am, are very sensitive and care deeply about others' feelings. A consequence of their popularity is that others often look to them for guidance and help, which takes time, and it's easy to see why campaigners sometimes get overwhelmed, especially when they can't say yes to every request. Yeah. Honestly, again, this is something I used to struggle with. I think recently I've started to really value my own time, especially as I've gotten busier. Um, I'll still say yes to things that I shouldn't say yes to. Um, but I think I've improved a lot, and like I see my time as valuable, and uh, when I'm working, I will invoice for all of the time that I am there, because I see my time as valuable, and I think that's been a good step for me. Number 4, highly emotional. While emotional expression is healthy and natural, with campaigners even viewing it as a core part of their identity, it can come out strongly enough to cause problems for this personality type. Particularly when under stress, criticism, or conflict, campaigners can experience emotional bursts that are counterproductive at best. Yes. Yes. I wouldn't say. I think this kind of sounds like, like angry bursts or like yelling at someone. Mine, I guess, are just more breakdowns. I think what we've learned is like in all of these weaknesses, I have them, but they're way more internal, and like, I don't know, I tend to seclude myself or isolate myself in these things rather than like project them on other people. I would say the only person I ever get like frustrated with, or like communicate a feeling, an emotion of anger with, is my mother, who I love. She's like probably, I mean, I love her to death. Like, I love her so much. And so I don't know why she's the one person that I'm able to do that with. And it's over, like, the smallest things. I don't know, she does this thing where she'll, like, come in and then, like, say something, and then I'll be like, okay, and then I'll go back to what I'm doing, and then she'll, like, be outside and, like, keep talking, and I'm like, okay, and then, like, 2 minutes later, she'll continue that conversation downstairs, and I have to, like, get up and be like, okay, can you tell me everything all at once, please? And so it's very dumb, small things. Don't think that I'm, like, like, angry at her. The only time that I communicate an emotion of, like, annoyance or whatever is with my mom, and that's just because I think we're close and because she knows I love her, and so I don't know, I feel comfortable. I'm working on it, but I don't know, they're usually pretty simple things where it's just, like, silly emotion. I don't know, it's never I don't yell at anyone. I don't yell at my mom. My mom is lovely, and the most I ever do is be like, okay. Like, that would be the extent of my anger. Okay, made that clear. Anyway, independent to a fault. Campaigners loathe being micromanaged and restrained by heavy-handed rules. They want to be seen as highly independent masters of their own fates, even possessors of an altruistic wisdom that goes beyond draconian law. The challenge for campaigners is that they live in a world of checks and balances, a pill they are not happy to swallow. Yeah. I thrive on independence. I really, really like being independent. I've always really liked being independent since I was, like, 5 years old. So that is definitely true. I guess that's bad, because I guess I do like control and I like doing things my way, which I think is going to end up being a weakness. So I guess that's true. I honestly feel like this list of weaknesses was good, but, like, I definitely have way more weaknesses that were not touched on. They didn't even get to my ego, which is... Anyway, let's move on to romantic relationships. Something that I have many of. Many real ones of them. Romantic relationships. That's what they call me. Okay, let's go. When it comes to relationships, there's hardly anyone around who's more excited than campaigners to share with their partner the bounty of ideas and eye-opening experience that life has to offer. For people with the campaigner personality type, relationships are a joyous process of mutual exploration and imagination, a chance to connect with another soul. Campaigners take their relationships seriously and are known for their uninhibited and unshakable devotion to the people whom they've committed their hearts. Okay, let's be real here. Ya boy has not had any serious romantic relationships. I don't know what it's like. I long for it. I would say I really want to be in a relationship, which is kind of contrary to last week's episode or 2 weeks episodes ago, where I was like, I love being single. But no, reading this makes me want to be in a relationship because I love the idea of sharing my experiences or everything I've learned or my life, whatever. I love the idea of sharing that with someone else who reciprocates that energy. And so, I don't know. It is hard for me to kind of come to terms with, like, I have never had that, and I don't know when I will. And so that stinks because I do desire to be able to relate to this little portion of the Meyer-Briggs personality test. But I don't even know what I would be like, honestly. I think I have a feeling Luke in a relationship would be very different, and I am intrigued by what that would look like. But honestly, I think we can move on. I don't know. It's just hard to look at this because there's a bunch of other stuff, but I don't know. I just don't think it's something I can relate to or something I can kind of speak to. So that's okay. Let's move on to friendships, and then we'll go to the conclusion. Okay. Okay. As friends, campaigners are cheerful and supportive, always sharing and developing ideas and staying open-minded, taking in others' thoughts and feelings. This warmth and sincerity makes people with the campaigner personality type masters of drawing people out of their shells, and as a result, they tend to have a huge circle of friends. I don't know. This is way too positive. I am not a good friend. I do not see myself as being a good friend. I don't know. I I don't know. I have insecurity with this, with being a friend, because again, I feel like I'm way too good at just disconnecting myself from people, and that's a really bad trait because I think it loses that sincerity that this talks about and that warmth that I wish I had. Um, and again, I don't know. I think maybe I used to have this, but I don't really. Let's read on and see what else. As with other relationships, campaigners view their friendships as opportunities to experience another angle of the universe and tend to imbue potential friendships with that weighty and idealistic quality. More outgoing types will naturally gravitate towards them, but campaigners will also go to great lengths and to be surprisingly persistent in their effort to get to know more reserved personalities. Their ability to tune into others and speak their language with that characteristic infectious enthusiasm helps them in this endeavor. And the allure of mystery that reserved types, especially introverted intuitives, bring to the table will keep campaigners intrigued for years. These personality types may never be able to reciprocate the breadth of human interest that campaigners present, but they do appreciate campaigners' efforts. Whoa. Yeah, I would say this is true, and the whole idea of viewing friendships as opportunities to experience another angle of the universe, I think that, I mean, that's a very, like, that's a funny way to put it, but I would say that's true. I am genuinely interested in people, and I am interested in the passion of people and how people work, and becoming friends with people is a piece of that. And I would say I'm good at socializing generally. Sometimes I'm extremely anxious about socializing, but I don't know. I guess this persistence is there and this desire. I do really, really enjoy. I find it satisfying when I can almost convince someone to be friends with me. Or I don't know, this sounds so weird, but I can almost see it as like a game or something to conquer, which again is such a bad way to look at friendship. But it is this I don't know, there is I want to get to this person, or I want to earn this person's trust or whatever. So bad, because that really makes people out to be like objects or something, and that's not always how it is, but I do relate to that on a certain level. And I think that, I mean, this could be a campaigner thing as a whole, an Enfp thing, but I do have a desire to conquer life, where I really just kind of, like I said earlier, putting things in my utility belt, or I conquering. That's the best way I can describe it. I like when there's a part of my life that I can do correctly and feel good about it, and then move on. And I think there's something similar with friendships, where I like conquering that aspect of my life, which sounds very impersonal, but it is extremely intimate and super personal, when it's actually being played out. But on a large scale, I do I don't know. I guess that's just another part of my life that I like to conquer, I guess. I don't know. This could make me sound really bad. If you think I sound really bad, leave a like down below. Okay. But campaigners' interest in others can be a double-edged sword. This pure idealism comes with certain expectations, And too often, campaigners hold their friends in an unrealistic light, expecting them to keep up with the constant flow of ideas and experiences that they consider integral to life. Campaigners put their whole hearts into their friendships, and it can come as a shock for them to find that their friends aren't the flawless titans that they believe them to be. Whether it's simple social fatigue or a focus on the physical and the practical instead of the mystical, people with the campaigner personality type can find themselves disappointed by what they see as a lack of substance beneath the surface. True. Oh no, this is so bad. Wow, I'm an awful, awful human. Yeah. I don't know. I do think I have really high expectations of people, which is really bad and not a quality that I want to see in myself. But I think that's why I often feel exhausted by friendship or whatever, because I'm like, you aren't reciprocating what I am feeling. And, that's just because people are different and they process differently. But yeah, I don't know. This is true. I know in like some of my past failed friendships, uh, I really, I had someone there for a while who was like, I don't like you because you like to go have fun. And there was more going on in that specific situation. But there are, I don't understand that. I don't understand being mad at someone or not liking someone for experiencing life. And I've changed a lot in the past year, and I've had people not happy about that, not okay with that, and that's really tough. But it's also kind of a cornerstone of who I am. I really like change. I really like growth. I like, again, experiencing life. And so I'm pretty confident and willing to kind of die on the hill of like experiencing life while someone may be not happy that I'm doing that. I don't really care. I feel like I've kind of moved beyond caring about someone who thinks of me that way. Oh boy. Guys, I've gotten ruthless. Honestly, I used to be such a good person. I really did. I used to be a good person. It was a crazy time. But I've started to just not care less on certain things. My issues used to be external. Now they're all in here, baby. Now they're all inside of here. Yeah. No, but it's true. Like I think I used to care way more about what people think, and now my biggest enemy is kind of just myself. But yeah, and it's true. I think I am pretty exhausted with surface level things. I really like I really like deepness. I like existentialness. I like the profoundness of life. And so when there is a focus on the surface level, or when people are mean, when people I don't know, only see others as this surface level thing, I hate that because I think that ignores all of the experiences behind the person that you're making fun of or whatever. I think that is ignoring all of the things that are informing who that person is. I think it's so much more complex than that, and I hate when people simplify it to not that complex. I don't know. I hate something I hate about high school is I hate when people are like actively making fun of kids. I don't know. Doesn't do it for me. I don't find it like interesting or entertaining, and that's comes off as very holier than thou. And I've struggled with like being annoyed by the super smart kid in the class or whatever, like being annoyed with how teacher petty or whatever. Teacher petty as in like teacher pet, like when a kid is being a teacher pet. I've been annoyed by that, but I don't know, when people are actively mean to kids, doesn't do it for me. Maybe an unpopular opinion. Oh, Luke is against bullying. But seriously, I don't know. I just think it's so like immature, and it seems so uninteresting and inconsiderate. It's not like deep, and I like deep, okay? I'm a deep boy. That sounds inappropriate. Okay, campaigners tend to get deeply involved in others' lives, going to great lengths and efforts to be the selfless, caring, and supportive people that they are, and all the while forget to take care of themselves, both in terms of basic needs like financial stability and rest, as well as more emotional needs like mutual understanding and reciprocation. Campaigner personalities tend to give much more of themselves than most are even capable of giving back. This sort of imbalance isn't sustainable, as seemingly one sided generosity often leads to criticism and resentment on both sides. Yep. So, on one piece of this where, like, I, struggle to take care of myself, I think I've gotten a lot better at that. I think I have gotten a lot better about caring, for myself. And for a long time, I was really stuck in just not processing what's going on in my life or whatever. And honestly, starting therapy has helped that a ton because I have an hour every week, every other week, where I can just talk to someone about myself. And then I also have the podcast where I just talk about myself. Like, this whole episode is just about me and my personality. And so, I don't know. I think I do care a lot about myself. I like to joke about being self-centered. But it's true. I think I've gotten to a place where I'm comfortable giving myself some attention, but I do still struggle with that piece where, like, the mutual understanding of meeting someone's emotional needs. I do think I'll always just put in so much of myself into everything I do. I think that's inevitable. And then I'll always expect that reciprocation. It said it right here. I already talked about this, and then it just said it again right here. So this test is pretty on point. But it's true. I don't know. I'm not mad about that. I'm not mad about putting my all into relationships and putting my all into everything I do, because that is what feels the most authentic to me, and that is how I just operate. And so, although it may lead to criticism and resentment on both sides, and it has in experiences that I've had, I don't know. I don't care because I feel like that is the most authentically I can work, the most authentically I can live. I don't know. Luckily, campaigners are open-minded and sincere enough in their friendships and connect with and understand even their acquaintances well enough that they recognize that not everyone expresses themselves in the same ways, and that's okay. Their sensitivity may make it too challenging to play with more critical and argumentative personalities, such as strongly expressed thinking and judging types, but they do appreciate, even cherish, the company of most anyone who appreciates theirs, and the adventures and experiences they have together are the stuff a good life is made of. That's very optimistic. No, but I would say that's true. I think I've gotten a lot stronger in who I am and more confident in who I am and what I believe, which is where that anti-bullying talk comes from, which I know is completely unsolicited. Just kidding. I am anti-bullying. But I would say that comes down to it. Like, in the friendships I have now and in the people that I love now and whatever, I would say the thing, there's always going to be imbalances or whatever. But I think this idea of they appreciate and cherish the company of most anyone who appreciates theirs, that's true. I think that's true. My love language, if you know what that is, maybe we'll take the love language test. I don't think I've taken the test, but I think my love language is quality time. And that's not just time, because I'm, very specific with my time and where I spend it, and when I don't want to spend it with people, or I don't want to spend it doing something or whatever. I am a quality time person where, like, that doesn't even have to mean that we're, like, doing something crazy spectacular. If it's someone that I can just spend mindless time with and feel very natural and good and comfortable in that time, then that is it. That is also beautiful to me. And so, yeah, I guess that's what it comes down to. It doesn't have to be a specific event that I go to with a friend or a specific thing that happens with people. It is just that appreciation of the company. And that's pretty wholesome. That's pretty nice. let's jump into the conclusion. As we're getting to the conclusion of this podcast, which might be a two-parter. I don't know. You know, and I don't. And so maybe this is a two-parter because we've been going for a while. Okay. Few personality types are as creative and charismatic as campaigners. Known for their idealism and enthusiasm, campaigners are good at dealing with unexpected challenges and brightening the lives of those around them. Campaigners' imagination is invaluable in many areas, including their own personal growth. Yeah. Wait. Let me read that again because I did not process it. Campaigners' imagination is invaluable in many areas, including their own personal growth. Okay, got it. I swear I got my 3rd grade diploma. Okay. Yet campaigners can be easily tripped up in areas where idealism and kindness are more of a liability than an asset. Whether it is finding or keeping a partner, staying calm under pressure, reaching dazzling heights on their career ladder, or making difficult decisions, campaigners need to put in a conscious effort to develop their weaker traits and additional skills, which I think I think that's what I've worked on, because I think those skills I've gotten a lot better at, and I don't know, boundaries also. Anyway. What you have read so far is just an introduction into the complex concept that is the campaigner personality type. You may have muttered to yourself, wow, this is accurate. Wow, this is so accurate, it's a little creepy. Or, finally, someone understands me. You may have even asked, how do they know more about me than the people I'm closest to? This is not a trick. You felt understood because you were. We've studied how campaigners think and what they need to reach their full potential. And no, we did not spy on you. But many of the challenges you've faced and will face in the future have been overcome by other campaigners. You simply need to learn how they succeeded. But in order to do that, you need to have a plan, a personal roadmap. I feel like they're about to get into like a promo of like a book or something. Anyway, the best car in the world will not take you to the right place if you do not know where you want to go. I think Teslas do that now. I think they make decisions about what we want to do, and then they take you there. We've told you how campaigners tend to behave in certain circumstances and what their key strengths and weaknesses are. Now we need to go much deeper into your personality type and answer why, how, what if. This knowledge is only the beginning of a lifelong journey. Are you ready to learn why campaigners act in the way they do? What motivates and inspires you? What you are afraid of and what you secretly dream about? How you can unlock your true exceptional potential? Our premium profiles provide okay, that was all just a promotion. Nope. Sorry, website. You're not getting me. Sorry. You thought you would convince me to turn to the dark side and pay for a premium profile. Nope. That conclusion was stupid. Oh, they have an insight of the day. Okay, real quick before we finish this off. Insight of the day. Campaigners are the most likely personality type to believe they have a lucky number. False. I've always been against lucky numbers. Doesn't do it for me. Doesn't do it for me. Doesn't do it for me. Anywho. There it is, folks. There's my personality laid out flat on a table. This episode was extremely fun for me to film. It was really long, and so again, I think we may have split it into 2 parts. We'll see. I don't know. But I hope you enjoyed your time here. I know I really genuinely enjoyed this time together, and I enjoyed diving like absurdly deep into my personality. And so, I don't know. Go take this. Go do the test. Tell me what you got, and then tell me, how similar it is to who you are, if you relate really closely to it, if you thought it was helpful to see your strengths and weaknesses laid out in front of you. But yeah, I love you very much. I do. Trying to think if there's anything else to talk about. I have so many episode ideas for the podcast right now, and I'm excited to move forward and make these episodes happen. I love the podcast. I haven't been posting on TikTok. I don't know if you've noticed, but the podcast is sticking through all of it, dude. It's the only thing that I can plan on keeping consistent in the foreseeable future, and so I'm happy you're here, and I love you, and I love you. Okay, bye.